Okay, today we're going to take a look at how to find the least common multiple of some problems. Least common multiple, unlike greatest common factor, is when we're actually taking numbers and doing as the name implies, we're multiplying them to find a number that they have in common. So that's where the idea of common multiple, and we want the smallest number they have in common. That's the idea of least. So least is the smallest, common is what they share, multiple means we're multiplying to arrive at these numbers. So let's say we want to find the least common multiple of, say, let's go with 6 and 8. Well, what I could do is list the multiples of 6. So for 6 I would have 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, and let's go one more, 54. We then need common multiples of 8. So for 8 we would have, 8, and should have had 6 here, but we got 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, and we could go one more, we could go 64. So then what we need to do is mark what multiples they have in common. Well, as we go down the list here, if we look for common multiples, here is 24 that they have in common. Go further down, here's 48 that they have in common. So of these two multiples that we see that they have in common, the least common multiple is 24. So for this instance we would say that our least common multiple, often abbreviated LCM, is 24. Now if we have, say, 3 numbers we want to find the least common multiple for, let's say we want to do 3, 4, and 6, oftentimes what you'll have is, for a case like this, you'll list out just the multiples of one of the numbers until you find a number that the other two will go into also. So for 6 we would have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and that's probably good enough for now. We can do a comparison. If we need to, we can go back, but let's compare 3 and 4 and see if any of these will go in there. Well, 6, 3 will go into 6, but 4 doesn't go into it evenly. We can take a look at 12. 3 goes into 12 evenly, 4 goes into 12 evenly. We know 6 does, so for these numbers right here, our least common multiple is 12. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at using prime factorization to find the least common multiple. Prime factorization to find the least common multiple is a little bit different. Let's use two numbers. Let's use 18 and 24. Well, to do the prime factorization of two numbers to find the least common multiple, we obviously have to start with their prime factorizations. So prime factorization of 18, well, I like doing division by primes. So 18 can be divided by 2. That leaves us with 9. 9 can be divided by 3, which leaves us with 3. So 2 times 3 times 3. We have 24. Well, 24 can be divided by 2, which leaves us with 12. 12 can again be divided by 2. That leaves us with 6. 6 can be divided by 2 again, which leaves us with 3. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Now when we did greatest common factor, what we did is we looked for common pairs. So we had 2 and 3. So our greatest common factor in this case would be 6. But we're not looking for pairs. In this case, what we want to do is we want to line up the groups. Or sometimes people will also talk about finding the largest group of a factor. If you want to do the lining up method, here's what you do. We have 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. That was for 24. For 18, we have 2 times 3 times 3. So then if we bring these down, I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. And then we need to multiply. So we take 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again, we get 8, times 3 is 24, times 3, 72. So in this case, our least common multiple would be 72. Another way of doing this is if you just go back up here to your factorizations up here at the top and say, well, my largest group of 2's is these 3 here, my largest group of 3's is these 2 here, and then you simply write out 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. It's the same idea as what we did down here, just a different way of arriving at 72. So that's several different ways of finding the least common multiple. Prime factorization is definitely one that we're going to use more of later on. Good luck.